In this video, I will be doing a comprehensive collective reading for Monday, October 24th through Monday, October 31. So we will wrap up the month, wrapping it up on the 31st, which is Halloween. So guess what? Look, I got my little Halloween thing, and I also got my little pumpkin. All right. Okay, getting into the little fun Halloween groove here. All right, I am Daisy, your hostess. If you're new to my channel, welcome. And to our fortune community, welcome back. You are in my tarot playlist where we just have a little levity here. If it applies to you, that's great. If not, we're just having a little time together and a little fun. Why not, right? Okay, the video will contain a bunch of goodies, and that will be a Lunar Influence reading where we will go through the different phases of where the moon is during its travel through the week, in which constellation and how that's going to influence us. So we'll look at that. Then we will do a 7-day forecast, one card for each day of the week. And that will be followed by angels and demons. Yes, pleasures and what? Temptations. So what are going to be the hits and the miss for the week that we should pay attention to, right? And then that will be followed by the elements. So we will try to cover everyone. That's the fire signs, the water signs, the air signs, and the earth signs. So we'll try to kind of get that collective. That's why it's called collective. You know, it's not just one person reading. But if you're interested in getting a personal reading, please check the description. You will get information there. Okay, then that will be followed by Numerology Influence, where I will draw one number and we will see what that influence and the vibration of the number is going to be for the week. So we can thank Mr. Pythagoras for that. I love numbers. Okay, and then the next thing that is followed by the community question. So we will go and answer and do a mini reading on one of your picks of the community question of the week. So if you're interested in having your question get a mini reading here on the channel, make sure that you put a comment in the channel here on this video, and I will try and draw it for the next coming videos, okay? And then the next after that is we will close it out with a meditation and affirmation so that we can come into our space and have a little me time, a little focus where we kind of just tune in to ourselves, our breathing, and we do it together. And then that is followed with the affirmation of the week. So it'll be interesting to see what is going to be revealed. So stick around. Let's get started. In this section, we will now cover the lunar influence for the week of October 24th through October 31. So this will be Monday, October 24th through Monday, October 31. The moon is a beautiful celestial body that many of us are familiar with. It is one of those beautiful celestial bodies that we are very fortunate to see because it's big enough to see with the bare eye. And the moon travels through the heavens and the constellations, stopping through each one, staying there for about 2 to 3 days. As the moon travels through each one of these constellations, it uses its beautiful energy to amplify and magnify the characteristics of each one of the 12 constellations that it goes through. There is so much at play that we as humans still have yet to learn about how all of this magnificent nature operates and how we are interconnected. Some people are very in tune with their natures and are very sensitive and feel the shifts of the moon. Not only the moon phases, but also the energy change as it's moving through the various constellations. So perhaps maybe this might help all of us as we begin to understand the subtleties of these energies, and we can use it to help maneuver ourselves throughout the day as we understand how these lunar influences affect all of us. All right, so then as we come into Monday the 24th, the moon is transitioning through Libra. That means the influence of Libra being that sense of balance, and at the same time, it is a cardinal sign. So don't be surprised on Monday if you've got that hump to get things started. If there's a cause or a project you are feeling like you want this to take momentum and you want to get things moving. And definitely, I wouldn't be surprised also that in the area of romance and relationship, also that energy to ask that person out and move forward with that relationship. So one thing, starting off on Monday with the Libra energy, it is really about a good balancing act, whether it's in business, whether it's in partnerships, whether it's in your personal life and relationship. Definitely out there starting with a good attitude of collaboration. It's about sharing ideas. It's about cooperating. It's about really stepping into and working together. It's that sense of balance and harmony coming at play with this Libra energy. And coming off of that influence that it had with Virgo for organization, especially Libra itself, now can take all of this documentation, all these ideas that seem to have just been there floating. Today, you really want to push them forward. So overall, Monday is going to find you looking at getting a lot of things organized, a lot of things in balance, and getting things started. Great way to start the week. As we head into Tuesday and Wednesday, October 25 and the 26th, things take a different twist. We are now here with a new moon. The new moon is now in its dark phase. It is a time to plant seeds for the future. At the same time, it is bringing us into a vibration of introspectiveness while it's moving through Scorpio. We see the sensitivities of Scorpio, which is a water sign. And this energy is about really self-expression. It's about strong confidence and independence. Yet at the same time, we're looking at pulling back. There's something about the momentum that we picked up on Monday that now on Tuesday, while we are ready to charge forward, there still seems that we need to let go of something. Something transpired. Was it in your career? Was it at work? Was it in your relationship? Were things said? Were you moving too fast? And so here we find ourselves here a little bit stuck in the mud, a little bit unclear, just as this new moon is. We can't see the big picture yet. And so we're finding ourselves a little bit stuck on Tuesday and Wednesday as the moon is moving through the constellation of Scorpio, a water sign. In the area of relationship, you might be ready to move forward with something, but something has happened, and while you may want to make and have an intimate connection with this other person, it may have been too fast. Things have been made too fast. And now it is really a little bit of kind of pulling back a little bit and really reassessing how this relationship is going to move forward. Let's move this into the analogy of the garden and planting seeds. It is important that this relationship starts right. And we need to ensure that everything that is being offered is coming from a place of truth, sincerity, and transparency. When we start a relationship on that basis, it is a very strong foundation. And the influence of Scorpio, which is a very intense, emotional zodiac sign, some of us may feel uncomfortable actually with having these feelings really bubbling up. And it is an opportunity to really see ourselves in a new light as we ourselves are evolving. The one good thing that I could say on Tuesday and Wednesday that is coming through with the energy of the Scorpio moon is that now it's about rolling up our sleeves and getting the job done. So Tuesday and Wednesday really will bring on that vibration, that energy, the mindset of getting things done, of staying focused and persevering through the objectives that are set forth through these next couple days. Okay, the moon now transitions and moves for the next few days, which is Thursday, October 27th, 28th, and into Saturday, the 29th, through the constellation of Sagittarius. So here we are with the fiery Sagittarius, maybe feeling this influence of having more faith in the process, about being very optimistic about the things that are showing up for us. We may see that Thursday, Friday, Saturday could be that some of the situations now we're looking at it a different way. We have the opportunity through the influence of the moon in Sagittarius. We might be a little bit creative. We might be looking for new ways to make things happen. We also may be looking for new ways to connect with others. Could be in our relationship, could be in our business partnerships. We may be now stepping out, looking for ways to expand and to grow. We're looking for new paths. At the same time, be surprised if there will be new things revealed to you in these next few days, and you will have the courage to take on the challenges that are in front of you, because the fire energy of the Sagittarius constellation is pushing through a more expansive side of you. And you might even be surprised how you can stand up and handle different things. And we give it to the Sagittarius as it is a cardinal of the fire signs. This means that of the fire signs, Sagittarius is flexible. Sagittarius is adaptable. So this energy that is coming from this beautiful constellation is helping whatever is showing up for you in your life, because now as this influence from the moon is being magnified, it will help you face whatever is in front of you, whether it's in a relationship, whether it's at work, in your career, in your projects. This energy here is going to help you kind of adjust the situation to help you see things from a new perspective. Continue to trust the process and everything will begin to fall in place. The one thing that you need to watch out for as the influence that comes from this very spiritual leader, Zodiac, Sagittarius, is the desire to be 100% honest. Sometimes being fully honest looks really good on 3-year-olds, but sometimes you really need to kind of watch yourself so that you don't step on people's toes and hurt their feelings. And that's really important, an observation that you need to kind of watch out, since Sagittarians are just there trying to hit the target and they'll go for the truth. Honoring the truth is great. Above all, it's making sure that you deliver the truth in a way that is compassionate and caring. Okay? Let's go on now as we keep following the moon as it transitions through the heavens and moves into Capricorn. We will see the moon traveling through Capricorn Sunday the 30th and Monday the 31st. The earth elements will feel quite at home as the moon is transitioning through Capricorn, which is an earth sign. The other buddies are Taurus and Virgo. The influence that we'll feel as the moon is transitioning through Capricorn is a sense of focusing on our life goals, staying the course, about overcoming some of the obstacles, of some of the challenges that might have presented themselves, whether it's in the relationships or whether it's in relationship to career and projects. At the same time, we may feel more inclined towards humanitarian issues, towards higher standards, towards commitment, probably with a sense that we do want to win. We want to succeed at the things that we start on. There may be an inclination to clarify the objectives so that the pursuit can become easy to manage. The moon in Capricorn is influenced also by its cardinal nature. And what does that mean? That in thought itself, you are ready to proceed with so many new things. You're ready to start with this attitude. You're ready to achieve what you want to. And that is at the same time the caution part of it. Will you be able to see it through? The thing to look out for Sunday and Monday is not to be too serious and hung up as far as the process itself, things moving forward. In regards to working with others, there may be a sense that you want to be in control, you want to be the leader, you have authority over certain things. If you're in leadership and in charge of a project, that's understandable. At the same time, you will find that if you loosen up a little bit, people will be more open to communicating with you and giving you some pointers on things. So be open to innovation, be open to trying things in a different way. Okay, so that's what we have. And that wraps it up for the moon traveling through the heavens of Monday, October 24th through Monday, October 31st. We'll now take a look at the week ahead, one card for each day of the week. All right. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We're going to have to move this just a little bit because we do have to get in that extra day for the 31st. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and that's Monday again, 31st. Okay, Monday the 24th. Well, we kick off our Monday with the High Priestess, a beautiful tone. And there are already a few things that we see here as we start our Monday, and we see a lot of balance here. You know, we see the two pillars here in opposition, Boaz and Jabez. We see the black and the white, that sense of opposition and that sense of balance. And interesting, if you go back to the first part of this video, we remember that the moon is transitioning through the constellation of Libra, seeking that balance. So we're seeing how both the moon and this message that we just pulled out are just simply amazingly connected, right? So at the same time, as we approach the day, whether it's in love, in career, or personal life, it is about approaching things from a place of intuition, a place of inner wisdom. There is a sense that we don't need to rush things or through things. This is a reminder that you have within you all the resources you need to get what needs to get done today. It is not about going beyond or outside or really worrying about any other externals. You need to trust your intuition. This is already stepping into the realm of higher knowledge, higher wisdom. And it's this inner knowing, this inner faith that you know that what is before you is enough and that the information that you have is enough to get things started. So Monday, let's get things started. Let's trust ourselves that we have what it takes to get things done. And remember, let's maintain things in balance. Tuesday. Oh, well, the Three of Pentacles is showing up here. And in this, it's interesting because we want from 2 to 3. So there's it seems like something's going to flow through from whatever was going, whether this has to do with a relationship that maybe you didn't follow through on your gut feeling, and now there's something to be a little bit off because maybe there's a little conflict in the relationship today. Maybe in your work, maybe you're a little bit frustrated because you're dealing with office politics or dealing with, a team that's not collaborating, or there's some frustration. And maybe in finances, it's just maybe you're avoiding something. You're avoiding getting some type of information that you need so that you can move forward. Something is missing because as you can see, this couple here is coming to this person who seems to be an expert, knows what he's doing, and they're getting advice. And it seems that it's very well guarded because it seems like they're in a place of worship. That has this kind of sense, right? But then it's in reverse. So maybe there's a conflict in the relationship. Maybe there's a conflict with your co-workers. Maybe there's office politics you're dealing with. And when it comes to money, Maybe perhaps you're not listening to the experts. Maybe you're doing a real estate deal and you're not listening to your mortgage banker or to your realtor. Or maybe this is a deal that's happening in court and you're not listening to the advice of your attorney. So something is off here on come Tuesday. And this is causing a little bit of frustration and a little bit of stress. So pay attention to the dynamics that is coming through. We are dealing with the moon in Scorpio. A lot of emotions creating a lot of chaos and a lot of stress. Remember, Scorpio is ruled by both Mars and Pluto. So you've got a lot of dynamic happening in what's happening on Tuesday. And it would behoove to kind of, as you enter the week, remember about that gut feeling. Because it looks like it's a consecutive. So, you go 2 to 3. So that's interesting how it's flowing these numbers and into each other here. Let's look at Wednesday. So with the Four of Wands, funny, that's where I said wow, because you go 2, 3, 4, and it's upside down. So when we see the Four of Wands, we see this is in the fire sign, we see a lot of good energy here. But remember, we are still moving through Scorpio. We just finished crossing that new moon stage. So all these new projects and ideas, what's going on, because upside down, there seems to be a little bit disharmony in kind of moving forward. But it's interesting because it has to do with the dynamics of relationships. We see this here as being celebrated in the home life or in the relationship, in the partnership. So was this situation that happened on Tuesday, is that not being resolved, and is it still spilling through on Wednesday and maybe a little bit more heated because we're now with Scorpio in the mix? So we've got all these emotions kind of moving through. And if this is a situation at work, did it elevate itself now that it's created such a stress that we're now dealing with conflicts, and he done it, who done it, she done it, they done it, but you didn't do it? So it's important to approach, this day and looking at some of the situation and thinking about the dialogue, the conversation that you can use to create a better outcome for the situation. It could also be if we're looking into the dynamics at regarding money, the money situation. Could it be that possibly you're feeling something has come up that is now creating a little bit of a burden, and now we could see why we were struggling with maybe the money situation here as it's spilling into Wednesday. So the days are coming in, but the key pivotal day is that Monday about follow your intuition. And sometimes when we don't and we give in to the outside noise, we can't hear what that divine voice is trying to tell us so that we can handle this better. Let's look at Thursday. Okay, wow. So we're coming back to number 1. It's interesting because now it's 2, 3, 4, and then full circle to number 1. But then again, this is here, the Magician. We're talking about, hey, maybe we need to go back to that drawing board. Maybe we need to relook at this because this is coming from a major arcana. Things that we need to learn from this experience that is happening. Not to take it personal, but to grow through and become a better person because of it. When we look at this now in the reverse, maybe because let's go back over here. Someone in here has some divine power. We see the number 8 has this. It's like a crystal, but with 2 points on both ends, commanding the energy from heaven down to earth. And he's saying, yes, I want to manifest this here. And we have all the elements. We've got earth, water, air, and fire. So we've got all the tools. But remember, the card was upside down. So what is it that we are what are we stalling? Because remember, there was a new moon here. And so what is it that we're not ready? Maybe, we're not seeing things for what they really are. Maybe we have chosen not to see because we didn't want the truth to be revealed. Or maybe the truth is being revealed. So something is off. It could be related to a relationship and to money because that's what we're seeing played here. And is it someone being tricky on you, somebody not giving all the information, somebody trying to hide something from you? Because you see, that's what the Magician is good at. not only is he good making things happen, but when he is upside down, now we're talking about the world of illusion, a little world of deception. So what is happening here? Is there something that is preventing you from getting all the information you need? Is someone pretending to have your best interest? Perhaps the opposite is true. So what we need to see here is look at your current situation, look at all that you have before you, and really choose to go back in here and dig deep. And, is this relationship sincere or not? Did you miss an opportunity here for this deal that was going to go through? Or maybe something at work is just someone's not willing to give in and, do their part. Maybe there's some deception at the work. So that's making, the conflict. Very interesting. But it hasn't come Thursday. We're still dealing with trying to get through that state. So the question is, what can we do to get through this in the best way that not is only good for you, but for all those involved? Let's look at Friday. Well, I like this. I like this very much. And look at this. If you did it by the numbers, look, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, even though that's not a 5, because we went 1 and then, 6. Remember what we told in numerology? 6 is the number of unconditional love. It's interesting. So here we have it. We see this person mounted on the fine steed, good looking fine steed. We see this green and like a very light green, and green is associated with the heart chakra, with love. And now we have this red, so he's wearing a red cape, some strength and courage in what he's doing. The victory wreath is also on his head, so he has come through victorious in whatever he was faced with or she was faced with during the week. And these other people, you know how it normally is, people stay quiet, but then when you win, they're like cheering you on. But, when it's happening, nobody wants to say anything because, they're afraid that they're going to get involved in the mess. But they're quietly supporting you. But now they've come out to cheer you, to cheer your victory. People are supporting you, and you finally came through. So it looks like you did what you needed to do on Thursday. You turned this around for yourself. And we see that we come Friday, again, we have the moon moving through the constellation of Sagittarius. And as we know that the wands are also representative of that fire element. So here we go with this beautiful energy showing up as victorious in what happened here. A lot of success. We've got recognition. We were able to manage the situation successfully. We were able to achieve something that we wanted, whether it was a goal, whether it was to get to the end of the week, whether it was something in this relationship, personal, at work, or with the career, even the finances, we actually got through very successfully. And as I mentioned, the number 6 represents unconditional love. It represents balance. Remember, we started that week here with that balance, trying to get that balance. It also refers to that peace and protection and service. So all of this here, you were able to provide what you needed to do and come out victorious. Let's look at Saturday. And here we have the Hierophant. We have the number 5. And it's interesting that when you look at this, it's almost like, okay, it almost seems like a journey. 2, 3, 4, oops, falling backwards. But then you go 6, like, hey, there was a hiccup, 6, and then kind of 5, but 5 in a number of like a sense of ascension, because now we're going from the minor deck to the major deck. And here, when you look at, the beginning of the week, a very similar theme, yet somewhat different. We have crossed over from following our gut, following our intuition. See, we see the 2 pillars here. We have moved on from that. We have the Hierophant here. And now we are sharing our experiences. We have moved on. We've gotten like a level up. There was a lesson here that we learned, whether it had to do in love, at work, or with money. We learned a very valuable lesson. And we learned that staying organized and working with structure is really what helps. And probably if it had to do with something at work, it had to do with crossing your
T's and dotting your I's. And maybe if that was a deal or a legal matter, that was really important, because maybe that proof, or there was evidence that showed, hey, you know what? This is the way that we need to do it, because we've got substantial backup here to show that this is the right thing to do. So this is really interesting how this is moving forward. And then when you start thinking about, if was this a relationship, here, take a look at how it looks in this here in the minor. You have this number 3, and they look like they are in some type of, temple or religious institution, and they're getting advice, but they weren't listening to that advice. Guess what? Something happened, and now the couple is like, you know what, it is better to seek that advice. And now you are stepping out and listening and using what is there, the resources available to you. So that is a good card. Let's take a look at Sunday. Oh wow, we have crossed over big time. All right, so here we have the 13. I call it lucky 13 because my son was born on the 13. So a couple things that we can look here. And in relationship to how this week had been going, it's like, remember how I just said there was a big lesson? And so now there's a healing. There's like letting go of the old so we can move on towards the new. And remember how we've seen the Pope, or this person here, it's like, we have gone through so many things and getting passage and getting the blessing to move on. And so interesting how this is playing itself out with this beautiful rose, the white rose of purity, starting anew. And remember, we just crossed over a new moon. So here we are with that ticket to move forward. And when we take a look at this number aspect that we have here, you take the 13 and break it down to its core number, which it would take us back to that number 4. It's about building foundations. And when we think about that, when we've gone through this crazy week that we have gone through, and it is to get through this chaotic week, especially Thursday being a determining factor, we see that we do come out victorious. And it's funny because then when you look at that Friday, he's riding on a horse, or this person is riding on a horse. And on Sunday, we have a totally new perspective from a very spiritual place, that we're not so worried about the people around us, but we're still carrying a staff. See, this person is here carrying a staff. And here, from success now to purity, that we need to let go of something so that we can heal, so that we can move on. And so Sunday might find us in that groove, especially with the moon traveling through the constellation of Capricorn, coming down to earth and taking a look. And you might see that you may have to let go of some people so that you can, move forward. Okay, so as we come into our happy Halloween here, which is Monday, the 31st of October, let's see what shows up. A whole new look to the week. And you see, I like to look at these numbers because they're really interesting in the progression. Look, 2, 3, 4, hiccup, could be the 5, 6. Now we go backwards. 5, 1 plus 3 is 4, and then 3. Wow. It's just this incredible journey. It's about these ebbs and flows. You see it with me, right? So now that we have gone through this, and some things, this thing had that, remember that thing with the relationship or whatever, whether this was an intimate relationship or not, here it is now, where now you have let go of something and you are now looking forward to the future as you see this. Now, number 3 here talks about opportunities. It's about manifesting things. It's about expansion and growth. We see looking in the horizon. We see the expansiveness because 3 is about opportunities as you're looking into the future. Now that you see things better, you can see what is ahead of you as you take these step forwards. You do have some things that are planted in the ground, and you could see these things are in the ground and firm. And the 3 of Wands here also shows us that you are in a strong position to make these decisions. You have gone through enough, and you can look ahead with foresight because of what you have been through. And this also may signify that you may be looking to travel. This could be a voyage, could be a plan or a trip that you are going to be taking, and you're kind of looking forward to that in the near future. So Monday has you looking into the future, looking at this travel plan, and maybe, who knows, there's a sense that maybe you are thinking about relocating, thinking about changing things up. But just remember, things just don't happen for people who just sit around and wait. To grow, you must expand. So here, definitely, there's some type of travel ahead in the future. And that's how we start off on the new Monday, October 31st. All right, let's now move on to our next section, which is angels and demons. Angels and demons. I came up with this because, sometimes you're thinking about, what can I do? And sometimes you get these temptations, and sometimes you get things that you're just really excited about. So I said pleasures or temptations. What is going to be a big influence here as a temptation or as a pleasure? So let's take a look at angels and demons. Angels and demon. Okay. Well, courage. We find this in courage. And the number 11. The number 11 is a master number of spirituality. And so that's the pleasure. The pleasure is in seeking that courage for self-expression. And here we see this renewed coming after this crazy week here. And will you have the courage to do what you need to do? And we see this person here with this wolf here howling at this full moon. And yet, are you ready for the transformation that the pleasure will derive from? But it only comes in when you can have the strength to move forward for that. So that is interesting. Strength. Let's take a look at temptations. Our demon upside down. What? So let's look at the Empress, and I'm going to flip it right side up. And in this, it's interesting. There's some bunny rabbits. We see some butterflies. We see this beautiful tree and this bird. She's sitting in a half moon with some money in her hand and flowers over here on this side. But this card is upside down. So what is it? What is it that you will be tempted? Will you be tempted to give up all this and not have the strength to face your future because you, right now, are not strong enough to make decisions for yourself? Are you being affected by others? Are you depending on them for your gains? And this dependence could probably make you as a very clingy person. And maybe that dependency on this other person is what is your temptation. Maybe at work you are just okay with getting by, and you're not growing as well as you should be because you're too comfortable there. And maybe when it comes to money, the temptation is not to push yourself because that insecurity you have about money is because of the money mindset, that the abundance is not there, that the beauty is not there. The Empress is all about abundance. And maybe there's something that you're afraid, and that fear is your temptation. Maybe that fear is what is holding you back, because fear is like an anchor. It anchors you to one spot, and you can't see all the other opportunities around you. So which one are you going to do? Which way are you going to go for? Are you going to go forward in courage and strength and just trust that you will be okay with the transformation? Or are you going to remain where you're at, dependent and afraid? Interesting. Very interesting indeed. All right, let's move on now to our elements. Okay, so let's see. Or we can give this a little shuffle. And the jumbo deck here. One more. Okay, so we'll see for our fire signs. I think I'll just split it. And our water signs, our earth signs, and our air signs. All right, let's see what will be revealed. Fire. Our fires are our Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. What is going on here? We do see this card, and it showed up over here. The Six of Wands showed up on Friday. But overall, there's a sense for you that is a little bit off. And maybe you're doubting your abilities. Maybe you're doubting that you can reach your goals. Will you be tempted to reach your goals and have the strength? Or will you get stuck and in one place here and because you're comfortable, because you're afraid, because you're doubting yourself? And so what is going on? What is happening here? And the struggle is not just one aspect. There's so many parts of you that it feels like you're out of whack. Maybe there are so many things that you feel are not going right, whether it's in your relationship, whether it's with your career, whether it's with your finances, which these things can really bog you down. And that might be just affecting your overall, not only physically, mentally, but spiritually and emotionally. So it's really important to kind of get a grip of this. And what are you going to allow? The angels and the demons here, your influences, where are you going to sit with this? This here is just letting us know that maybe you're lacking the confidence and the drive that you need to push forward, to reach your goals, to do what you want to do. And it's important at this time, my fire signs, that you take a moment and really have a conversation with your future self. What did that future self do to pick themselves up and get themselves through this situation? Obviously, the future, the you that you are here now, can talk back to the old you, and you can see how much you have grown. Trust that that future you can help you get through this stumble block, especially with what's happening this week, because there will be some things that will take you down on, here we go, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So there will be some heavy days for you on those days. Just remember that we move into Sagittarius on Friday and Saturday, and so you will have a chance to recover using that fire energy of the Sagittarian moon influence. Okay, let's move on to our water signs. Our water signs are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. And what? Another rough week here for our water signs. What is going on here? All right, so we have the Temperance. And let me just move it this way for a minute. All right, so we have the 14, and we end up with the 14. It gives us 5. So when we take that to its basic number, we could see that it is the struggle for that personal freedom. You want change, but here 5 represents life lessons that we need to learn. And think about this. Remember, on Saturday we had the Hierophant show up. On Saturday we had the Hierophant representing that 5, the life lessons, because of this week that we went through. So when we put this into perspective of what's going on here, as it is in reverse, this is now letting us know that, we need to reflect on what is out of balance. And as we could see that Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday are going to be critical days of the week on this coming week between the 24th and the 31st. And so there may be a lot of things that may be causing you stress and anxiety. Could it be something in the relationship, my water signs? Could it be something at work, or maybe the finances? But definitely you're feeling that rockiness, and you're looking to just really get out of that situation, because right now you're fighting that change. You're fighting that change that is coming. And it is really, you're feeling it. That sense of imbalance that we're seeing here is that just you're trying to fight back that situation. And one thing, when we look at that, if you go in one direction, it might lead you to what? A lot of pain. And if we go to the another direction, it might lead to too much excess. So we've got to take a look. Which are you going to choose? Are we going to have the strength to pull through, or are we going to stay in the old ways? So one of the things to move forward is try to figure out if you can create a long-term plan for your vision. That's what this means. Is right now you have no idea where you're going. And so this lack of purpose is leaving you with that feeling of feeling drained and feeling like, you're trying to mix things, but they're falling out. You're trying this over here and it's not working. And this is a reminder that all good things are good in moderation. So it's important that you bring yourself back into balance with your emotions. So bring that, and just remember that the emotions are not who you are. They're like the barometer. They're always it's just the barometer. How you need to, it's like, okay, it's like, it's just letting you, okay, you're not feeling too good, address this. Oh, wait, you're feeling really great, keep on doing this. So this is what you need to do, is really begin to master understanding those emotions so that you can make better decisions. But what I would say for all the water signs, get yourself a piece of paper, write down some goals, stretch them out for the next 3 months, and see a plan how you can get people involved, things involved, and get started. Okay, let's take a look at the earth signs. What? Another, man, if it wasn't true that we had these upside down, we've got 3 of our earth elements really dealing with things, and as our cards are showing up in reversal. So when we're talking about our earth signs, we're talking about Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. My Capricorn, my Taurus, and my Virgos. Hello, hello. Let's take a look at what we see here. So we see this Ace of Wands represented by the fire signs. So there's like something is amiss with your drive when we see this. So what is here, especially when we see the number 1s, which refer to beginnings? That's what we're talking about, that potential of making choices, whether it's developing spiritually or starting a project, or, there's a certain sense of uncertainty here with this element, with the wand being upside down. And so you might feel like you don't know which way to go, especially as with what's presented on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. You're feeling a little bit uninspired about the whole thing. And maybe at this point in your life, you really don't know what you want. And it's like you're stuck in a slump. And even though these things that's why it's just so difficult to kind of, deal with these situations. We see over here 4 wands here. And what does that represent in the relationship? It's like, what is going on? You don't even know how to move forward with that. And it could be here, like with the magician, here, ready to get started. The same wand that's in the hand, well, it's on the table here. So this being reversed, you're like, well, I really don't know how to get started with this project. I really don't know how to kind of, in a way, finish this. And so it's a little bit frustrating, what you have in front of you. You have things that you've got to get done, but somehow it's like, which way to go with this? You don't have any idea how to get it going on for real. And so what you need to do right now is have a little bit of patience, with yourself, and let's go back to these 2, temptations and pleasures and temptations. So what will it be? Will you dig out and find what your strengths are and work on that? Focus on what and work with your strengths. And that might help you get out of this rut to get through this weekend, right? Because, and here, as we recall, this was about not making choices, just letting other people just call the shots for you. You can't, how much strength can you see in that? How much credibility will you get that? How much respect do you think you can get from others when you're letting them call the shots? So find where your strengths are and just start taking those steps with your strengths. Okay, let's take a look at our air signs. Oh my goodness, all of them were upside down. Well, definitely that prediction here with this Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday being the critical days of the week for you. Let's take a look, and it is in the air sign, the 6 of Wands Wands represented by air. Well, here we have the Six of Swords. What? So all of these have been upside down for all my elements. What? Let's take a look. So the Six of Swords, what do we have here? Definitely very interesting indeed. You know, and the swords itself here is a representative of the air signs. So this desire that you'd like to move forward with this, you know, and leave the past behind you, that's that struggle that we're seeing here. And so there's a lot of healing that's going to take place for all the 4 elements, as this is a very critical week. And let's remember what's going on. We are in Scorpio season, and Scorpio is about that chaos. Pluto and Mars. What do we have with that Mars? It's about transformation. It's about rebirth. It's about purging. The same thing when we're thinking about Pluto, and that Mars is about action and courage and the planet of war. So think about all this stuff that is happening. I can see why all the 4 elements are in an upheaval, because Scorpio is in the game. And not only you would think that it feels like it's a fire sign, but Scorpio is all about getting in touch with our deepest emotions, which guess that's how we start the week, addressing our deepest emotions and these things about how we're going to move forward, and then ready for that transformation. But the good news, it seems that we will come through. So anyway, let's go back here for our air signs: Libra, Aquarius, and Gemini. So here, what we're seeing here, it looks like you've been trying to move on. You've been trying to get past some serious hurdles in your life, some serious issues that have shown up, and you're trying to move forward. You're trying to make some type of transition. You're aware of it. It's not like it just caught you by surprise. You have been aware about it for quite some time. And what it is, it's really what's making it hard. It's experiencing these challenges that's kind of really so unexpected. It was like, well, I just didn't think that it was going to be this hard. This is just really a little bit too real for me, right? So what happens is you keep going back to where it's comfortable. We see this over here, going back to what's comfortable. And why? Well, maybe because these things haven't been resolved. And you're questioning your decisions, your choices, and letting others, take the lead. So what is it here? Here, what we see, maybe at the same time, maybe you've been resisting that change, and life is pushing you. Life is pushing you towards that change. And that's what's happening. You're feeling forced to make these movements to move forward. And you're being forced to do that before what you would say your time. Like, well, you weren't ready for it. It just caught you by surprise. The truth is, it's been coming. It's been coming. And it's now that pretty much the blinders have come off and it's in your face. So the thing is, you need to look ahead. You can't look back so that you can move forward. Because if not, you're going to risk all of this caving in and falling apart on you. Okay? Can't say that this is going to be a great week for us, but somehow I do have faith that we all will be looking forward to the week that's coming past in the 31st and into the new month. Oh, let's go on to our numerology influence. Let's see what will be in store. We'll bring our little dominoes. Ooh. Well. 12 it is. 12 it is. Look at that. Okay, so when we see the number 12 here, we can take a look at, let's look at first its sub number, which is 1 plus 2 is 3. We'll go right? And when we look at the number 3, it's about manifestation and expansion. So let's look at that just alone. But then let's take a look at just this message here, the 6 and the 6. And remember here what we had, the balance, that deeper looking, that deeper meaning that we're looking into. And it could have to do not only with balance, but unconditional love. That's what that number 6 is. When we look at, as we look at the past, it's about letting go of the past and leaving it with unconditional love, loving ourselves for whom we've become, and loving others for their role in their part in helping us become who we are. And then looking into the future and loving and being grateful for who we are to become in the future. So here we are then with this beautiful number 12. Let's then look at the number 1. The number 1 is all about those new beginnings. And remember here, as we go through that gauntlet of a week, we go back to a new beginning that's starting over, like something looking forward to the future, to some change, to some movement, to some travel. And then the number 2, which we see here, the number 2, it relates to what? Dualities, diplomacy, adapting to relationships, to all these things that we are being asked to do as we're moving forward. So the number 12 is about cycles in our life. It's about knowledge and wisdom, about higher consciousness. And so when we're stepping in, this message that is coming through is that not to be hindered by old habits. Remember, temptations? Because sometimes when we go to what is comfortable, that is a temptation. Okay? And it is asking us to look at new experience with optimism and to take a look at all the opportunities that can come from moving in that direction. The number 12 is about achieving our goals and aspiring towards the new and letting go of the old. And there you have it. All right. The next section is for our community question, our fortune community question of the week. And the question that came in, it's going to be interesting how we're going to be able to do this. So we'll kind of move this a little bit over. That's for the 31st. And we'll move these players over here, create a little stage over here. Okay. So the question is, how can I sell my house now and get house of my dreams, smaller, new, or be able to renovate it at my need? Okay, so there may be other people that are interested in selling their house and getting a new house or the house of their dreams or downsizing. And this will apply to all of you who are in that collective group that the same person submitted their question. So we'll see what will be revealed. And here, so the how, what is holding the situation back, and the moving forward for that. Let's see if I may not need another card. So the how, this is the question, the how, and what's holding it back, and that will be the outcome. Okay, the how is, well, you have the Ace of Swords, and you have to have a plan. Without a plan, you can't move forward. So all I could tell you is myself now pulling from my own experience, since I used to be a realtor and in the mortgage industry. I could tell you that you need to first get a comparable market analysis, see what the houses are selling for. You need to put it on the market, whether it's you selling it or a realtor, and taking a look at those options. But if you don't have a plan and a timeline, a house that doesn't have a notice that it's for sale and available, no one will know about it. And that's the first thing. The Ace of Swords means that you don't have a plan. You're so unsure about it, but the how is you need a plan. And then what's the holdback? Well, you're holding it back. Look, there's a sword still here. So you are the one holding back your own plan. And when we see this card here, this person is resting, waiting for inspiration. Got these 3 swords coming down. You haven't even used it. You have options, but you're not using it. You're sitting back. You're doing nothing. The question is, what are you waiting for? Obviously, you're waiting for this sword. You're waiting for this inspiration. You're waiting for something. But the thing is, it's a plan. You're waiting for the plan. See, the plan is take action. Right now, there's no action happening. And the person is just laying there sleeping, waiting. What? So the question that you need to ask yourself is, what is your plan? You can first start by really putting an action plan. So part of the plan I would suggest is get a ledger. And in your ledger, or get yourself a composition notebook and title it, My New Home. And then the plan. Sell this house. Get a realtor. The plan could be sell this house and get into my dream home that's affordable and beautiful. Okay, whatever it is that you want to call it. And then you have to then find out how much money can you get for your house? Obviously, the best option would be that you could just go buy another house and don't worry, sell this house at whatever it wants to sell or rent it out. If that's not an option, then you need to write down what is your plan. What is your plan? Well, maybe you want to interview a few realtors. You want to get yourself a comparative market analysis. A realtor could do that for you for free. And now you know what other houses are selling for. It gives you an idea for any other house that's similar to yours, what you can sell yours for. Then you want to talk to your mortgage banker and take a look at, well, if I sell my house, I may have this much capital or equity left to play with, and then I have this much capital, then I could combine it and I could buy a dream home. Then the other thing would be is take the weekends off and start looking at homes that you might just be dreaming of. You don't have to go and, buy them, but look at the neighborhoods, look at the houses, look at the price ranges, and just start building up the dream for yourself. See if that dream home is out there waiting for you. Then the other thing that you might want to consider doing is begin to think about which moving companies you would use. How much do they charge? And start thinking about what would you start selling now so that you don't have to be burdened all at once then. So there's a lot of things that you can do that would be part of this plan. So, okay, and then moving forward, let's see what happens if you don't have a plan. What happens? And looking at the cards like this, what would happen? Well, obviously, if you don't have a plan, there's no money. So if you're looking to get some capital to work with, you need to have a plan so you can know what capital you're going to have to work with, because that's what you're doing. You're buying a big ticket item, and usually for the average person, a house after a car is the next biggest ticket that you buy. But you need capital, you need money, and this is the ace. So look how interesting that is, right? I couldn't have pulled it up myself. Look at that. Ace of Swords, Ace of Pentacles, both are upside down. No plan, no money. Don't they go hand in hand? So you've got a lot of work ahead so that you can turn these things right side up. Get to work, get in action, because the ace needs to be up. This one needs to be upside down. It means that now you've got swords, now you've got action, and you've got money. So you got to make this happen. I would like to leave it like this because that's what I want the outcome to be for you and for all of you that are thinking about making that move. Have a plan and make it happen. Okay, now let's move on to our meditation and affirmation. Got this little piece thing here. Go lay it out, really pretty. In this section, we're now going to take a 1 minute. I will ring the bell once, and we will now take 1 minute for ourselves. We deserve that, where we are going to observe our breath, observe our body as we breathe. You can have your eyes closed or open, it's up to you. And become aware of the subtleties, the noises around you, the feeling of the air around you, cold, hot. Is there any wind blowing? Are there any noises inside your area or outside? How does your body feel? Are there any areas that feel tight or uncomfortable? Send love to those areas as you breathe and visualize that you are sending loving and healing breath and exhaling the things you don't need in your body, the toxins, exhaling the toxins. And give yourself this moment of peace, like going away on a beautiful journey where everything is just the way you love it, whether it's beautiful breeze, the sound of the ocean, but coming back and feeling refreshed when the minute is done. So use this to feel your breath coming in and your breath going out. And then when the minute is done, I will ring the bell and then I'll give us our affirmations twice. So the second time that I say the affirmation, you can say it out loud with me. And if you like the affirmation, keep it with you on a 3x5 card and remember to say it at morning and at night and feel empowered by it. Own it for yourself. All right? Feel free to go ahead and close your eyes. All right, my dear one. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Welcome back. I hope that you feel refreshed and feel amazing and wonderful. The affirmation for this week is, I attract love and abundance and wisdom into my life. I attract love, abundance, and wisdom into my life.
All right, why don't you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell if you'd like to get notified the next time I put up a video, and leave me your comments below. And you know what? I hope that you've had just as much fun as I've had being the channel to provide this message. So we'll see each other at the next video. Be blessed.
And happy Halloween.